All right, we are getting ready to learn how to use a drop spindle to spin your own yarn. Now, I just want to go over a few general comments before we go into detailed lessons in later videos. First thing is I'd like to introduce you to our Knit Picks drop spindle. I'm very pleased with this because it allows you to either spin as a top whorl spindle so that you're spinning like this, okay? Or you can choose to use it as a bottom whorl spindle, sometimes called a Turkish spindle. That's how we're going to refer to it. Now, I'm going to be showing you how to use it as a Turkish or bottom whorl spindle, only to choose one over the other for the lessons. You can choose one way or the other. As you get more experience, you'll find you'll be more comfortable maybe with one way or the other, or one type of yarn you'll want to use. Just for now, just so you know, you'll have that option with the Knit Picks spindle. I do have a couple of general things I want to review before we go into detail. First thing is your actual fiber that you will be spinning. More than likely, you will be using what is called roving. Okay? Now this is actually the very same thing that you would find in a spinning mill. Okay? And it would be drawn out just like we spoke earlier about how spinning mills make yarn just faster, more efficiently than using drop spindles or spinning wheels. Totally makes sense. Now here's the thing though. If you were to try to spin from roving like this, it's a little thick in the diameter and you'd have to deal with a lot of extra issues that you don't really need when you're drop spindling. So to get started, I want you to take about maybe 1.5 feet of your roving and just kind of tear that apart separately, and then I want you to split that lengthwise in half, and you can begin what is called pre-drafting. Essentially, gently pull these fibers out so that they're making a finer diameter of essentially your roving. Okay, see how much finer that is? It'll be much easier to spin and handle the thickness of your yarn when it is pre-drafted like this. Okay? Now the next thing that you want to do as you get ready to drop spindle is attach what is called a leader. And it's essentially what gets you started at the very beginning of your spinning. Now what I've always done, just, my own way of doing things, is I've taken a long circle of yarn. See, I've knotted it here at the end, okay? And what I do is I just put that with my spindle. Now don't forget, I'm going to go over these details. You don't need to know how to do all this right now, but I do want to kind of give you a general idea, okay? And what's going to happen with a leader is you're going to spin and you're going to put your beginning of your fiber, the very beginning of your drafted roving, into here, and it'll kind of catch it. And that's how you'll get started. One of the things I want to be sure we understand before you get started very far is that spinning is actually energy. It's energy building. There is a certain amount of physics involved. I don't want you to panic. I just want you to understand what you're doing. When you are spinning your spindle, okay, you're building up energy, okay, and it's spinning and spinning and you're building energy and building energy. And what happens is you want to manage how that energy gets put into your fiber. Let's just look at that quickly for a minute, okay? I've spun up some energy. You can see it's all kind of twisted. My yarn is twisted around itself. And I can take the very, very tip of my fiber I can load it and twist and twist and twist and twist and twist, and see that I've got all that energy that's happening from my drop spindle. Now here's the thing. I can build up energy, but it can't go any farther than my finger that's a pinch point there. So what I'm going to be showing you with your spinning is how to control how that energy is then fed into your fiber. If you watch it, and don't worry, we're going to handle this in a very, very detailed manner in later videos, but it's important that you grasp the concept of what I'm going to be calling your drafting triangle, which means I've pinched energy at the very narrow point of the triangle. I draw my fiber out to form the thick part of the triangle, and whatever is in between, when I let go, is what's going to get caught up in the energy I've built up. And when I don't have any more energy, I spin, 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 build up a little bit more, and then I control how that energy feeds. So if we do a recap, Nitpick's drop spindle, or any other drop spindle you happen to have around, then I want you to pre-draft your roving, start a leader, go get a piece of yarn, we'll start as a leader, and then in the next lesson we're going to talk about energy management as you form your first drop spindle yarn. So let's do a recap. We have Nitpick's drop spindle. You can use it as a top whorl or a bottom whorl. I'm using it as a Turkish spindle for my lessons, bottom whorl. I would like you to pre-draft out some roving. All right. I would like you to have a length of yarn to use as a leader. And in our next lesson, we will talk about energy management and how that works as you make your yarn. And in the next lesson, we're going to talk about energy management and how that is. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about energy management and how that affects your yarn making. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about energy management and how that is used to make yarn. I don't know if that's any better. If it's not, we're quitting. It's getting too dark.